Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's begin. Okay, class, we are going to we're going to begin a topic on the business environment. We define it the business environment. Business environment is some total of all the external and the internal factors that influence the business. All those factors that are lying inside and outside the organization, okay, and they are which have the potential to influence the business operations. So these factors basically, these both internal and external factors, they jointly interact with each other, and they jointly influence the business processes and the business decision making, basically. So understanding these forces, understanding these factors is very important to for a modern businessman to operate and to stay in the business. So generally, from the environment is when we say that we are operating a business, we are not operating the business in vacuum. Okay, we are operating in something, and that something is called the environment. All right. So anything with that surrounds, or in which the business is being operated, that is something we name it as the environment. So there are generally two forces. One is external forces that are lying outside the environment business unit, and those forces which are lying inside the business unit, they are called the internal environments. Okay, they both some of them are the controllable, and some of them are the non-controllable. Generally, the forces which are inside the organization, okay, they are lying inside the organization. They are generally businessman or the business have the control over them, and the forces which are lying outside, businessman doesn't have the control on these forces. So understanding these forces is very important. So moving on. So we have generally, if we divide the environment, we have the internal environment, and we have the external environment. In external environments, we have the two components. One is called the task environment. You have to memorize this terminology. Another is the general environment. Okay, task environment is also, some writers write the word micro external environment, and they say the macro external environment in the from the economic language or economic terminology. Okay, so you are familiar with the macroeconomics and microeconomics. So this, in the same context, there is a task environment, micro environment, smaller scale, and the general, that is the macro environment, a broader sense. We will see in detail what are these in this lecture. Okay, so moving on. So if we see the diagram of it, we can easily understand the relationship between these three environments. Like, for example, very quickly, you have already, I know, covered these topic basics of the environment. This is the organization, and this environment is lying within the boundary of the organization. What are those forces that we will see? What are the forces? This is the task environment, or the name that we have given it, the micro external environment. Okay, and this is your external or the general environment. More specifically, we say it okay, this is the basically general environment or a broader environment. So there are the forces there are certain forces which are lying in this environment, and there are certain forces which are lying in this environment, and there are certain forces which are lying in the internal environment. Handling these forces or the government or the sorry the business management or the orientation of the business or the managing these environments or handling of this environment is different, okay, from each other. The handling the internal environment or the things or the perspective, the way you will see the internal environment is different from that of the your task environment, and similarly from the external environment. So one thing is common in all these environments, that all these environments exert uh, pressure, or you can say the forces on the business with different perspective. And when we say that it exerts the forces, it exerts the pressure, what it means? It means it affect its operations, business operation. What it means? It affects its decision making, because as you know that the manager's work is one of the essential work is the decision making. So decision making is affected by these forces. So understanding these forces is very essential. The performance of the business, that totally depends, completely depend nowadays on the on handling or the managing these environments. So first and the foremost, the point is that the understanding about these environments by the manager. Those organizations or those managers which are unable to understand these environments and unable to handle these environments in a proper way, they generally simply they cannot compete the market. They simply go out of the market. So to stay in the business, to stay in the operation, to stay in the business activity, this is one of the prime important activities, the prime important topic. That is why this topic of environment is always given importance in all the books of the management. Okay, when we study the principles of management or the business management or the management theory and the theories and management theory, so understanding this environment is very important. So we also say, sometimes few writers also say this, if you see this picture, kind of layers of the environment. They say the layers of environments. So these are different terms that you should be familiar with. This is the internal layer, this is the task layer, and this is the general layer. So if you find somewhere the word layer, so that not be confused. So first layer is the internal layer, okay, and second layer is the external layer. And in the external layer, you further have subdivisions in the form of the task layer and the general environment. Okay, moving on. So what is the internal environment? So internal environment is composed of all the forces that are residing within the organizational boundaries. The internal environment is the environment that has a direct impact on the business. The internal factors that generally are the controllable factors, and the company or the business has some control over these factors. So they can alter it, they can modify it, they can accommodate themselves with these resources. Whereas the external environment, it refers to the forces that lying outside the business environment, and they are affecting from outside. So these are generally uncontrollable. Why they are uncontrollable? The one of the reason is that they are the separate business entities. All the forces, they are outside. They are not the part of the business. They are, the business is dealing with them. Okay, business deal with the customers, business has to deal with the competitors, business has to deal with the suppliers, business has to deal with all these things. So they are the separate entities from that of the business entity. But business operate with these, business interact with these forces outside the forces. So that is why in that sense they are generally uncontrollable. So companies or the businesses generally have lesser control on it. So As you know that, as you have seen just in the previous slide, there's the task environment and the general environment. The environment which has the immediate impact. This is important thing to understand, and that is immediate impact. Okay, and that is general environment or secondary or the further away. I mean, they are from the task environment. So that is a secondary impact on the business. The immediate impact mean the businesses are directly dealing with this environment. Which one? The task environment. And businesses are indirectly or generally, that the name the general that has been it has been given. They are generally they are interacting with these with. Okay, moving on. The specific impact or the immediate impact or the general impact, what it means is that general is generally the impact which is the impact on the whole industry, not only specific to the one your organization only or the one single unit only. It is the impact on the all. Like for example, if the weather is there's a flood out there, or there is a weather some weather condition out of control, so that is impacting all the whole city or the whole businesses that are being operated in there. If there is some kind of the economic, if there is a rise in the price of the dollar, or if there is some increase in the price of the petrol, it is affecting everyone, irrespective of the type of the organization and the type of the industry. So they are in general, they are broader. They are the word macro has been used with them. So whereas the specific mean we are directly dealing as a one-to-one on the one-to-one basis with the environment, and that is called the micro environment, the task environment. So by this time, this much understanding is enough. Moving on. Okay, what are the forces in the internal environment? All those conditions and all those forces which are affecting the organization from inside. Okay, those forces are called the internal forces of the organization, internal of the internal forces of the environment. So what are those? The number one, first of all, is the organizational culture. What it is, we are going to discuss it in detail today in today's lecture. The owners and the board of directors. The owners and board of directors, the one who is holding the business. Definitely, they have the this is their business, and they are their I mean interest and their directions or their priorities and their reasons of running the business and their vision and their mission, that is definitely impacting the business as a whole. Employees, that is also a very important constituent and the component of the internal environment. It is the employees who make the business run. It is the employees who are making the business successful. The performance of the employees is affecting, is very much I mean the success of the business very much dependent on the success of the performance of the employees. Similarly, the employees union, I mean the grouping of the employees, they fight for the, or they I mean they struggle for their rights. So that is also play sometimes a very important I mean creates concern for the business to deal, for the management to deal. Then comes the business resources that you have already seen, all the resources that include financial resources, information resources, human resources, your technologies. So these are the existence of the, or the level of these resources and the accessibility of these resources or the abundance of these resources. Okay, and this makes the strength of the business. If you are weak from in any of these things, so that is overall it is weakening the business as a whole. So these are the components of the internal environment. So moving on. So what are the components in the external task environment. So as you know, these are the forces that are specifically or directly interacting with the. So what are these forces? This includes the suppliers, the one who provides you the goods. So it's not necessary that every business has to deal with the suppliers and distributors. So it depends on the type of the business you are doing. So for those students who have the business, though not from the business background, though I would recommend them that they should cover the prereq of this subject is the introduction to business. They should have the basic understanding by type of the businesses and the type of the business formations and all these things. Okay, that you normally the students who have covered in the ICS and other classes. So you have the suppliers, the distributors who distributes the goods to the final consumers or the customers, and the customers who are they may be the end users, or they may be the businessmen like retailers who are further selling it to the end users. So the customers who are purchasing or buying your products for further selling or for consuming. So competitors, this is a very very important force. All this, if we say that often, if I ask the question to the student that why you are studying the management or why you are studying this business education, because businesses require the business managers. Why they require the business manager? Because they have to deal one of this very very important constituent of the business environment, the competitors, because this is the competitors who are competing with you for the market share. They are taking the share of the market from you. They are competing on the products. They are competing on the customers. Okay, so this is the main. All these knowledge areas are basically strengthening you to compete to enable the business to compete in. Okay, so this is a very very important force that you have to learn and you have to deal with. Okay, next one is the regulators, the government authorities. Who are keeping the monitors and eye watch on the organization performance. So this is also very very important. Like you are familiar with your tax collectors and all these things, because their concern is, the government concern is basically they safeguard public interest. So anything, they keep an eye on the business from every perspective to safeguard the customer's interest, to safeguard the employee's interest, safeguard the society's interest, so that any harmless or harmful thing may not be performed by the organization. So they keep an eye on it, on this thing. Okay. Like for example, if you have seen these days that the government is keeping a very strict, taking very strict actions in our country on those on the quality of these food restaurants and food manufacturing businesses. Okay, they are keeping an eye, very strict vigilance on this. They have they have to follow all the rules and regulations. Okay. So there are the government regulations who are keeping an eye on these things. Next one, the strategic partners. Nowadays, in these days, generally the businesses are not being operated alone. Alone. I mean to say, these businesses have to. They have to have the relationships. You can say the business relationship with other businesses. In the form of the joint ventures, you have heard the name joint venture. In the form of the mergers, in the form of the working partners, you can say business partners, like in the form of these. So business has to deal with these strategic partners, these strategic allies, both inside the country and it may be the outside the country. So understanding their interest or safeguarding their interest, this is very, very important. So these are the forces that are lying into the task environment, and they are directly, specifically dealing with your business. I mean, they have the one-to-one relationship with you, in simple terms to say. They have one-to-one relationship with you. Okay, your business is dealing directly with this business. So whatever you do, you have to take care of their concerns. Whatever they do, they have to take care of your concerns. So I will cover the stakeholders next. So that is also related to this topic. Okay, moving on. General environment. What are the forces that lying inside the outside the government business external environment? They are the basically the broader forces. They are the broader forces who has not the direct impact or the specific impact on the business. They have the general impact. It is kind of the, you can say, umbrella force. Okay, this is a kind of the umbrella force which has effect on all types of industries which are working under it. So what are these forces? Like political environment of the country or the area where the business is being operated. If you are operating in Pakistan, so you have to take concern of this political scenario of the country, where the political, what type of the political government is nowadays, what are their interests, what are their preferences, and what are they thinking. I mean, what is their concerns with the, I mean, what are their relationship with the business. This is very, very important. Okay, the investment related things, all you see that the investors, every government wants that the investors should come and they should invest in the country, so they develop the policies. So it's the job of the investor or the businessman to see either these policies are comfort or I mean supportive or not. So for the businessman, the things are open for him. He can go into the, he can operate nationally, he can operate internationally. Global environment, global scenario, global market is also available nowadays for the businessman to operate. So he will see the political environment. Both, if he has to operate internationally, he will also see the political environment of that country, the political, I mean the government type, the political structure, the system of that country. They will understand that thing. Similarly, in within the country, the political environment. Next is the economic environment. Economic, the things that we cover in the economic environment, the economic condition of the country. What are those forces that makes the both micro and the macro environment of the business. So they are the things that we covered now generally in the we see the economic, like GDP, like we see the per capita income, like we see the different the economic resources of the business of the country. So we could take care of all these things. What is the economic condition? What is the inflation rate of the country? How much is the balance of the payment, balance of trade? So all these things that we generally see, and they are important to know for a businessman before the start and before the start of the business. And these are being covered in the economic environment. So economic environment also play a very important role on the condition of the business. Okay. Similarly, one I have missed one thing here, that is the government environment. That is also very essential. The government is itself a very essential, very strong, very important force. The government rules, government regulation, the government structure. Well, generally, we can also cover it in the political in a way. Generally, political covers the political plus legal part of the environment. Okay, economic environment, then comes the social environment, then comes the technical environment, and the government environment. The government structure, the type of the government, okay, their policies, their preferences, their uh, what is their charter, their interest, what are their plan, what is their program. Okay, so that also plays a very important role on the business, affect the business. Social environment. The social environment is basically the environment of the of the of the locality, of the community, of that geography where the business is being operated. The demographic of the people, the culture of the people. Okay, their norms, their values, their do and don'ts, their customs. So all these things that we generally cover in the culture, their demographics. So social, so business has to, work according to the recommendations of the social value system. Business cannot do against the social norms. They cannot do anything against the social value. They cannot perform against the social culture. This is impossible. People will not let you work there if they will go against if the businessman will go against the social norms and the social value of the system. The social environment, not only taking care of the social environment, also protecting the environment. That also part of the social environment. So this is another force that affects the business decision making, business operations. So you cannot blindly or openly. It's not a free ground for the businessman to operate. These are the forces he has to take care of. He has to deal with. Then comes the technology, the level of the technology that is prevailing in that country or which is available for the business to operate. So that is the level of standard of technology. Like these days, the digital era and the digital technologies are booming a lot. So they are definitely become the competitive advantage as well. The companies who are holding this technology, who has the hold, who has the strength of the company has the strength in the form of the technologies. So those companies are competing a lot. That is, they follow for they are able to go for the e-commerce. They are able to go for the digital marketing. So even in this present scenario of the COVID, you have seen those organizations who are having the command or who are having the skills available with them to go online. They are automatically, they are very quickly switched to the online scenario. If you ever they are not able to perform physically, they switched to the online scenario. So all these, if you can see, these classes are being going on online. So this is basically the ability of the business to perform according to the any shift in the environment. So any shift that is occurred, then business ability. Why we are understanding learning these skills, these environments, just to make ourselves agile, make ourselves adaptable, make a business in a position that they can accommodate these changes, these forces, they can handle these forces, they can manage these forces, they can act accordingly. So all these things. So understanding these forces is very important. Suppose for a person, for any individual, he just start any business without taking consideration of these environments, the rules and the government rules and regulations. And there are the examples. I know a number of my students who have started the startup. If anyone has done not a proper homework before starting the business, he has to suffer a loss after some time. Okay, so particularly I can give you an example, for example, of the tourism industry. The tourism industry is a very sensitive industry in Pakistan, or rather everywhere. So there are the many checks and balances by the government or regulators. So if anyone who is blindly, just start the tourism industry and he is not done the proper homework or taken proper permission, he has to suffer a lot. So that is very, very important thing. So before the starting the business, so the businessman has to be very much. He should learn. He should be educated enough to understand the requirements of all these forces. Not only they should understand these forces, they should understand what are the requirements, how he will deal with these forces, what are the operative or what are the functional requirements while staying. Because you have to deal with this force, you have to stay with this. You cannot, live away from them. If you are working in Pakistan, you have to deal with the Pakistani political structure. You have to deal with, you have to, accommodate yourself with the economic condition of the Pakistan. You have to accommodate with the social environment of the Pakistan. Okay, so similarly, if you are going in any other country like you are operating in China, you are operating in Iran, you are operating in Afghanistan, you are operating in any neighboring country, or anywhere else. So you have to deal with the environment in that country. So understanding that in these environmental forces is very, very important. Not only the task environment, plus also the general environment. Okay. So moving on. Another very, very important, interesting, rather, I would say, formation of these environments is in the form of the stakeholders. Stakeholders, you cannot, place a stakeholder in any one of these, all these stakeholders in any one of these environments. You cannot say that these stakeholders belong to the only internal environment or the stocks environment or the general environment. So these are the stakeholders. They have certain common characteristics. The kind of the group of of these environments who have taken away from the other forces, but with some certain commonalities in it. And what is that commonality? I'm going to tell you that we name them the stakeholders. This is very, very important to understand what are the stakeholders. So business has to also deal with them. Okay, has to adapt with the stakeholders concerned, has to accommodate our stakeholders with them. So what are the stakeholders? So stakeholders are basically any part of the environment that are affected, who are affected by the organization's performance. These are the different businesses or the different, the part of the like customers, part of the environments, but not only the business, who are being affected by the business performance. For example, if the business is not performing up to their expectations, they will suffer. Similarly, the business is also affected by their performance, by the stakeholders' performance. If the stakeholders are not meeting up to the expectations of the business, then business will suffer. So this is very, very interesting. It is a two-way kind of a traffic. So we can say the one important word that you can keep in the mind while understanding that is a stake. What is stake? Dictionary meaning is a stake is your concern. Stake means interest. You can, as a synonym, you can say it is these stakeholders have the interest in your business. These stakeholders has a concern in your business. These stakeholders' survival depends on your performance. They also have put the influence on you as well. So this thing, understanding these interesting part of the environment is very important. So let's see what are these stakeholders. So stakeholders they are in the form of the owners, because owners of the business, definitely they are the stakes. What is their stake? Their stake is that they want this business which they are running be successful. They never want that their business be go on the loss. So this is their stake. This is what their concern, to say. So they always look at the business with their concern, with their stake, with their interest. Okay, they want the profitability. If I write, they want the profitability in the business, increase in the profitability. They want the longevity, long life of the business. They want the business to survive. They want their interest is to have the problem with this. The interest is with the they want to have the more market share. Okay, they want their image. They want their business standing. They want their business standing. Okay, just hold on. Just hold on a minute. Just 1 minute. Okay, so where were we? Yes, so they have these stakeholders have they want their image, they want the standing in the business community. Okay, they want to they have the growth in the form of the market share. Okay, they want to have the expansion. They want to expand in other markets. They want to expand in the products. They want to expand their markets. Okay, so basically this is the concern of every business owner. So he will look the business with this perspective. So his take, so know the business as a separate entity, as you know the definition of the business. Business is separate from its owners. Okay, so business has to be performed, the business managers have to perform the business with by keeping the concerns, by keeping the stakes of the owners in mind. This is one thing. Okay, next, second very important element of the stakeholders, among the stakeholders is the customers. So who are the customers? This is the second most important stakeholders for which the business is existing. Business exists for the customers. So without the customer, if you have no customer, so you have no business. You cannot survive. So one of the primary objective of the business operation is to attract the customers. If you don't have the ability to attract the customer, so you will not survive. It's simple. It's straightforward. Okay. So what is the most important thing from the customer point of view is the customer satisfaction. What customer want? The customer want that the business to be for example, they want value satisfaction. Value is what? Value is what they deliver. This is a marketing term. They deliver to the customer. Whatever product you have, suppose any product like this is a pen. So this pen is a physical things, kind of a thing. It's a tangible. But it is what it is giving me. It is giving me a value. It is enabling me to write on the screen. Its durability, its performance, okay, its holding of the everything. So all these things cover in it. Its price and all this. So this is a value. So value satisfaction is very important. So customers of businessman has to take concern all these things. The value of the also business. Customer always want that the business should produce the quality products. They don't never want that the business or they never allow that the business or they will never go to that business who will make the low quality products. Okay, they want the customer concern. They want the customer concern as well. Customer is the boss. They want that the customer be customer orientation, you can say. The business should be show the orientation towards the orientation mean the focus towards the preference towards the customers. Okay, they should make the product with the perspective of the customer. So this is the stake of the customer. So so these are the things. So moving on. Next important stakeholders in the list of the stakeholders is the employees. That is very, very important after the owners and customers. So employees are the one, as you know, who are basically running the business or who are making the business to run. Based on their skills, based on their experience, based on their knowledge, based on their abilities, if this is up to the level, okay, they are doing it efficiently and effectively using all these things. So they will be able to run the business in a proper way. So if they have to perform well, they will definitely want something from the business for them. So their interest, their expectations, so they will see, the employees will definitely see the business from their perspective. So what they want, what are the concern of these business people? First of all, they want the job. Okay, job is already the job security, you can say. Job security. Okay, they want the good compensation. They want the, what else, like for example, they want the just dealing. They want the just dealing with them. They don't want to be that the environment of exploitation is there. They never want that there is some kind of the the environment of an environment, working environment which is not congenial, which is not letting them to work properly, okay, with the satisfaction. Okay. Besides this, employees want the development in the form of they want the career development. They want that their organization, they give them the clear career path. What it means, that if today a person joins the organization, so after sometimes there should be increase or the development in his different things, in his pay, in his experience, in his learning, in his rank, in his salary, and all these things. So if a business is not able to give his employees these things, employees will remain demotivated. They will never ever perform up to the expectation of the business. They won't be able to perform to compete, to make the business compete in the market. So the satisfaction of the employees, motivation of the employees, okay, and there are a number of terminologies I would like to write here, for example. So for these things, for the satisfaction of the employees, what business has to do, business has to focus on number of things. This is additional to this lecture. At your level, you may just note it down. So the employees, they have to develop the employee sense of ownership among the employees, so that the employees think that this business is their business. Like this kind of a sense, like you have the sense of ownership for your families. This is your family. Why you say this is your family? This is your brother, this is your father and mother, because they care about you at the time of problem. So when you feel happy, you just go to them and tell them about you. If you have some problem, you tell your family members. This means you have the high sense of ownership about it. So if this kind of a sense of ownership, if a business is able to develop for its employees, so just imagine what is the level of interest and the level of the motivation the employees have for the organization. So for the sense of ownership, they have to develop the commitment level of the employees. They have to develop the interest level of the employees. They have to improve the sense of responsibility. Okay, so these kind of things, they have to provide the employees. So when they will be a highly committed employee, then they will be they will have the high interest in the organization. They will have the high concern with the organization. They will have they are more responsible employees. They are highly committed employees. Then definitely they will perform well. Then organization will just enjoy their presence, and they will enjoy the organization. They will enjoy the organization, their career in that organization. So this is the thing. So employees are very important stakeholders. So generally, good organization all over the world, you have seen particularly, they invest on their employees a lot, just to get them to develop their sense of ownership, improve their motivation, improve their commitment, improve their interest. Okay, so all these things. Okay, moving next. Next important in the line is the suppliers and the vendors. The suppliers and the vendors or the distributors, who are these? They are the one. This is your business. There is someone who is supplying you the things, and there are some few who are taking the things from you to the market. Suppose if you are the manufacturing concern, you need the raw material, you need the other things, so you need the suppliers. They may be both inside the country or outside the country. And those who are taking your products and they're sending it to all the intermediaries, they're taking from the point of production to the point of sale. So they are your distributors or the middlemen or all the agents, marketing agents who are taking your products. So they are very important. So the relationship of the business with these elements of the organization is very important. They provide a lot of important information to the business. They tell them the conditions of the market to the important information to the businessman. Distributors or the marketer or the agents, they provide the market information to that what kind of customer trends are these days, what the customer wants, what are the competitors selling in the market, what is the price they are offering. So when this kind of information is provided to the businessman, they design their products accordingly. They adjust them. So you cannot remain away from them, from the suppliers and the distributors and these vendors. They provide these marketing agents, marketing intermediaries. They are very important stakeholders. Like owners are the internal part of the environment. Customers are the stakeholders. They are the stakeholder, but they are the part of the task environment. Employees are the part of the internal environment. Suppliers, vendors, and distributors, they are the part of the task environment. Similarly, another important one are the investors. They are also your part of the internal environment. Investors are the kind of the owners who have the investments. Okay, they can be the task environment because, for example, if you have for example, you have the joint stock company. If you are a joint stock company, so all the investors, all the shareholders are lying outside the organizations. So they are definitely looking at the performance of the organization. They want their share, the right price of the shares to be the market share value of their share should be increased, because they have invested, they purchased the share of that market of that business. So these investors are also very important. So they have the serious concern in the business. They never want that their business be destroyed. They never want their business be below performers. So they are the concerns. So for that, the business has to take care of their concern as well. Next, similarly, the shareholder, they are the shareholders, investors, all these things. Okay, I will come to the competitor at the end. Next one is the government forces, the government and the communities. Government is basically not a part of the direct. If government, you are taking government from the perspective of the regulators, so they become the part of your task environment. Or if they are taking the generally overall the government, so they are become your the general environment. But here we are more concerned with the regulators who are directly dealing with the organization, with the, like for example, your tax collectors, okay, the one who is looking the quality inspectors, like for things like they are looking the production process of the production process of the organization. They are the environmental organizations of the country. They all see they protect the environmental rights. They protect the so basically all these regulators are basically they protect the society, concern of the society, concern of the people living in that society, and that people may be customers also, that people may be your employees also. Okay, so or the general public as well. So they are also very important to take care of the the governments. Okay, so they want that the government should provide they want that the business should provide them the true picture, true accounts. The business should not hide anything from them, the true sales, so that they can properly calculate the total production, the total GDP, and total per capita income, and total market analysis they can properly perform. Okay, similarly, societies performs. Similarly, the the social bodies, they want that the business should perform, take care of the interest of the society. All right. So moving on, next important one left is the communities where we have businesses being operated. So this is a kind of the social force that the business has to take care of, the concerns of the society, consent of the people living in that community. Because when the business is started in any area, in any part of the region or the part of the country, so generally what they do, they are not only, they do pollute the it is not it is right that they do affect the environment in a way, but they also provide you the people of that area, the locality of in that area, their they are mean to their increase of their living standard in the form of the employment. They provide the employment. It helps them to improve the living standard. It increase their income, their earnings. So businesses have the dual impact. Not only they are, providing the positive, the side of their performance. They also have they do affect the area. They do affect the environment. So government the business has to take care of all these things. So last one and the most important one, rather that is a very interesting as well. It sometimes creates the confusion in the minds of the student that why the customer competitors are the stakeholders. Because we use one word that is with the stakeholders, that they have the interest in the business, interest for survival of the business. But why? But do the competitors have this interest? So this is the question. Very interesting. Make it very interesting. Competitors. One of the definition of the stakeholder is that the concern. It may be the positive concern. It may be the negative concerns. Interest is generally, when we use the word interest, it means the positive concern. So that sometimes creates the confusion in the mind of the students. The what kind of the interest it has, what kind of concern it has. Basically, if you see the competitors are fight, or not a fight, rather they compete with the business, with you on the market share. They compete with you on the customers. The products you are selling to the customer can be their customers. So there is a kind of a struggle between you and your competitors. So they are always keeping an eye on your performance. If you are weak on any side, they will definitely go take it as an opportunity for them. So similarly, you are also having having an eye on the competitors. If you find anything, I mean, the open space for you where they are not operating or where they are weak, their weaknesses are becoming your strength and your weaknesses are becoming their strength. So this kind of a tug of war is there between you and the competitors. So they are the important stakes. So those businesses which are not taking care of their, I mean, not keeping an eye or not concern, keeping a concern with their competitors, they are just manage the market. They don't know what the competitors are doing. Okay, so they cannot make an effective strategy, they cannot make the effective marketing strategy, so they just go out of the market. So the competitors are very, very important stakeholders. So that was a discussion on the stakeholder class. So moving on, some part of the environment still we are discussing it. So next one is the very, very essential component of the environment that I left to discuss before. That is the culture. So rather, my today's lecture is more related to the uh, will remain will focus on this part of the environment, the culture. So generally, what is the culture in general sense? If we, I mean, simple words, if we see it, we see the we culture is come. We say it like our living style, okay, how we behave with each others. I mean, how our, I mean, living style. I mean, how we live, how we dress, okay, how we behave with our what is our family systems, okay, what is our community system, okay, what is our belief system, okay, what is our religion, because it's a belief system that drives the living style of the people of that area. Okay, what things that we avoid and what thing we adopt. I mean, the do and don'ts. What are the norms? What are the values? Okay, what is the heritage? Okay, what are these things? What are the institution, like the institution of the marriage? What happens when somebody, when the baby is born? What kind of happiness we celebrate? What happens when somebody dies? What are those customs? What are those traditions? Okay, how the like, for example, you can say the how we celebrate our national occasions. Okay, how we celebrate our the religious occasions like Eid, Shabrat, and these kind of things. Okay, so this all mix. This is a mix. These are so many things. This is generally we give the one single name that is called the culture. Okay, so culture is a basically refers to social norms. Okay, social behavior, both individually or as a group. I mean, as a whole. I mean, that is a whole picture of the social or whole behavior and the norms found in the human societies. It covers the knowledge, belief, your art and laws, customs, capabilities, habits. I mean, that generally define the way of living, the living style. You can see that one community is different from the other. If you go from in this area, like if I'm living here in Islamabad, if you leave the Islamabad, you go to another area, you definitely find some kind of a different. There are both kind of a things, like there will be certain things which remains common throughout the country, Because in the Pakistan, being a Pakistani, we are following certain things in commonly. But if we move from one part of the other, our languages are different, our the weather conditions are different, and that weather conditions are making our wearing and all these dresses different. Okay, where there is a hot weather, that their dresses are different, where there is a cold weather, their dresses are different, and their living style is different, their timings are different, their all these things. So this also, geography also play an important role. So culture refers to a system of shared norms. The word share is also very important to understand. Sharing mean the accepted norms. Sharing mean accepted something. If I am suppose I am going the mosque 5 times in a mosque. If somebody else is also going in a mosque, it means we both are accepting this norm. Okay, if somebody is not going 5 times, it means he is not accepting this norm. So this thing, so we accept few things, and we generally don't accept few things. Okay, so these sharing of if the things that we share, that is comes under our culture. The thing that we don't share, that is not a part of the culture. Okay, so sharing is very important. So sharing shared norms, shared beliefs, shared values, and shared thinking, shared assumption, what we assume about the things, about the life, about the things around us. Okay, these are the things that are basically binding people, because this makes the commonalities. If I go daily on a walk in the morning, get up early in the morning, and somebody else is also getting up early in the morning and he's also going on the walk, it means we are both are following certain way of living, a style. Okay, this is we are sharing, and that sharing is binding us because there is some commonalities between me and that person. Okay, we are binded by having this common habit, common way of living. So this thing is very important. So thereby creating the shared meanings. So that gives the meaning. So often if we ask the class, if I ask an individual in your class, "Okay, how is this individual?" So you will define that the individual that like your CR. What is the CR? You will say CR is punctual. CR is very. Has a good interpersonal skill. He is very friendly. He is very sportive, etc., etc. But if I say you as a class, what is the class? How is this class? Can you define this class? So you have to define not the individual, you also as a whole, the behavior of the class. Okay, so we teachers, when we go from oftenly we go from go in class in one class, and we go to the another class, we see a clear cut a difference between the behavior and the responses and the attitude of the one class. We can differentiate the one class, we can name it that this class is behaving like this and the other class is behaving like this. So we can very easily, so what is this? This is the culture. Okay, so that one class is accepting or sharing certain characteristics which are different from the others. Okay, so what are these? So this is the topic that we are going to cover in right now. So let's see, so we see this thing in detail. So one thing is that sharing means the sharing by the, at least by the, suppose there are we can say there are, for example, like if you see these dots, let's I go in here. Okay, if I make, suppose I say these dots are representing certain community. Suppose, okay, suppose there is any norm. It may be the morning walk. It may be anything. Suppose if you find that in this area very few people are going for the morning walk, it means very few people are having this habit. So you cannot say that this community go for the morning walk. So you cannot add these characteristics with this community. But if there are so many people, I mean, the majority is in the morning. If you go in a park and you find the hundreds of the people, I mean, they get up and you find them in the parks. So you can say, yeah, well, you can very easily differentiate this community from the other community in which there are less number of people are going for the walk. So you can name that community that this is a community. You can add the name to this community that like this, they are the one who are, I mean, they are very, I mean, healthy people. They go for the walk. There are less health issues. There are less, I mean, these kind of things. Okay. So this is the thing. So generally, a larger group generally adopts the habits or share the habits, then that become the part of the culture. Otherwise, it is not. You can say it in that sense. Okay. So organizational culture refers to a system of shared norms, beliefs, values, and assumptions which bind employees of the organization together, thereby creating shared meaning. This is the definition of the organizational culture. Previously, I was given you the definition of the simple cultures. This is the definition of organization culture. So organization, because organization also composed of the people and the living together, they are brought together and they are spending time together, daily 8 hours, 9 hours together, and number of years. So they also develop some kind of norms, some kind of the do and don'ts, some kind of the culture. Okay. So that distinguish one organization from the other organization, that in the same way as your class from the other class. So culture is also organizational culture, or we some also say it the sometime we name it the corporate culture, with little difference between these two. So these organizational culture where the employees are working are different from one organization to another organization. So that also defines the characteristics of that organization based on that culture. So if you are able to name that culture, as you will learn afterwards, you will be able to name that organization. So that culture will show complete picture of that organization, what this organization is. So culture is in such a way is basically a package of many things. You don't need to just list out that this. No, you can simply say culture. This is that culture. You can name that culture. So system is manifested. This culture is manifested by the custom and the habits that exemplify the value and the belief system of the organization. So generally we can say a culture is an umbrella term which encompasses the social behavior and the norms found in the human societies or in the organizations, and which is based on the combination of the knowledge, belief, arts, laws, etc., etc., etc. So how the culture is manifested, this thing is very important to know. So after the sharing, next important thing to know about the culture is how it is manifested, how it is displayed, how you come to know that this is how you can name the culture. Until I will not go in my class, I cannot name them. Okay, what are these? What is this kind of the class it is? If I will not to any go to any community, I will not interact with them. I will not come to be able to name them, to define them. Okay, so manifestation me is be shown when you interact with the people of that area, people of that organization, and you communicate with them. Okay, when you do this thing, you will find their behavior. You will find their attitude. You will come across their display of their norms. You will come to know their uh, you will come to know their belief systems. Again, by dealing with them, by talking with them, communicating with them, you will come to know what he assumes about the things in the life. Okay, how they share things with each other. So culture is manifested by the single word, if I say use for the behavior of that community as a whole. I'm not talking about the single individual's behavior. I'm talking about the behavior as the whole of the community. Like if you see, for example, if I go at the national level, I am Pakistani, and if I am in Pakistan, if I go in the UK, and if I meet any person in the UK, so I will have definitely something after the behavior, after with his behavior, I will develop something in the back of my mind. I will be able to name, okay, this is the behavior of these people in the UK. So that will show their culture, a part of their culture, because they are behaving so because this is their culture. Same is they are thinking about Pakistanis. Their image, our image is based on our culture. So whatever we behave there, that will be the display of our culture as well. So that thing is very important. I mean, also critical in another sense also. So behaving your behavior, the culture is manifested by your behavior. So just these are the building blocks. So I'm just explaining one by one to you the sharing, the norms and values and the manifestation, so that you are able to understand in a proper way the culture, because it is very important. Why it is important, I am going to tell you very soon. Why we are learning this about about the culture. Okay, now we are going to come a very important point, a very important slide, and that is the we are on the slide 15. Elements of the culture. Okay, now moving to the elements of the culture. All these things that you are looking on the screen, like languages, norms, symbols, values, attitude, rituals, customs, manners, education, artifacts, language, jargons, metaphors, stories, myth, legends, ceremonies, celebrations, behavioral norms, your shared beliefs and values. So that is the basically you can say a collection of the things that you use to define the culture of of any organization or any community. So with these things, by looking these things, by understanding these things, which are displayed by the behavior, by your speaking, by your communication, by your dealing with the different people. Okay. So this thing is very important to know, that how question that generally comes in the mind is that how we understand that what we need to measure, what we need to see to understand the culture of any place. Like the languages we speak, that shows a part of the culture. If I am from Punjab, I am speaking Punjabi, that it means that I belongs to the Punjabi culture. So language is also a display of the shows you many things. I mean your I mean the heritage and your I mean abilities and this all these things. Uh, your norms, okay, norms and are the basically do and don'ts, the certain accepted things that you accept as a society member of the society. You do, I mean the things that you can openly do in front of each other, like in very good very I mean good norms in Asia, in all the countries in Asia are like we respect for the elders. Here in Asia we have the respect for the females, okay, as a whole, and we have the respect for the children as well. All right. So whenever you have observed so many times in our daily life, we travel in bus or in travel in anywhere, we see that when the elders are coming, we just spare our seats for them. We just vacant our seat and give them the time. Okay, we listen to them. In our families, you can see combined family system. You can say in this education in this style, elders have the values in our family system. Okay, their words, their decisions have got the value in our system. So these are the norms. If the norm, if these do and don'ts are, I mean, there you observe, you become the part of your culture. Same is the case your values as well. So value system, the norms, a similar kind of a thing. Next comes the symbols of the organization, how they live, I mean, how they behave, how they act. So that is that first, I mean, the visible thing that comes to you, comes to that you view. That's the general. We say them the artifacts. Okay, the first level of the things that we generally come across. Similarly, every culture or every sort of profession have their own languages. Like the students or the student mean the employees in the IT industry, they use their own set of languages. I mean, their jargons, their typical language that they use that is generally a common man don't understand. Similarly, in the medical profession, they use their own jargons. In the business profession, they use their own jargons. Okay, similarly, we have certain metaphors, okay, certain analogies and certain stories and myths we have made in our societies. Just to, like, for example, our elders tell the stories to their youngers. बच्चों को they generally tell the stories. Why their story? Just they like unity is strength, and like the truth is for truthfulness and these kind of a thing. So stories, similarly in the organization, we can also use the stories. For example, you can tell the stories in the organization to the fellow employees or the new employees, or the popular stories are written in the history, in the manuals of the book, that this organization has the story, has a success story. This is the hard work they have done. Their owners have done the hard work, and this is what the success story. These are the failures in the history. So that make the employees understand the organization culture in a better way. Okay. Similarly, the myths are the generally, I mean, the things that we assume by the member of the society, and they are sometimes acceptable and sometimes they are not acceptable. So they are not scientifically proofs, I mean, the kind of a phenomena, but they do exist, and you can find you just your culture just follow them. Okay. Legend mean the those successful people, I mean, who are mentionable in the history of the organization, who have spent did some achievements in the for the betterment of the organization. They may be from the marketing department, they may be from the engineering department, they may be from any. So they organization just keep them alive, keep them, I mean, remember. They keep them remember in their books. They keep them remember in the form of the portrait, just to know, let the people know who are these guys. I mean, just to, they know that they have performed this, and they say, okay, they were appreciated in this way. Then they also adopt that behavior. So this is a kind of the learning as well. Ceremonies and celebrations, the annual functions, annual get together the organizations conducts just to, I mean, give some souvenirs, some performance bonuses, some I mean, gifts, I mean, some some, I mean, performance. I mean, they give them the promotions, kind of a things. So all these things. So these are the means to display the behavior, and you name these things. You name the languages. You name the norms. You name it the symbols, values, attitude, rituals, etc. So these things. Okay. So moving on. This was the slide number. Okay, another perspective of understanding the management is, the environment is the observable behavior, the iceberg analogy. This is also very interesting and very to know about the culture. So iceberg is basically a piece of the land with made of ice, generally found in the I mean, cold areas of the sea. Like, for example, if you make it, I try to make it trying something like this. They are found in the some part of it is under the water, and some part of it is above the water. and this is generally is the visible part, and this is the hidden part. So understanding the culture is also very important. So if you see one of the composition of it is that this is a very small part of the culture. I mean, all these elements of the culture, norms, myths, all these things, they are the visible part, and this is shown by the behavior. When you interact with some culture, you find get their response, get their behavior, get their display. So that is the visible. But this behavior that they are showing, this analogy is telling that it depends on these things which are hidden, which are not visible to this guy. They are only able to see you. They are only able to see this. So what are these? These are the near hidden portion, and this is the far hidden portion, deep hidden portion, far or the deep hidden portion. So what is in it and what is in it, and what constitute that make them to behave in this way, that make them to act this way. So the question of the researcher has studied the culture, that why the culture is different, and then they came across this iceberg analogy, that the things why the culture of the behavior of the one community is different from the behavior of other community. It is based on these things which are hidden and which are much larger than this part of the culture. Okay, so what we see generally in the visible components, what we see is basically the visible norms, okay, the visible behaviors, visible display of actions, that is visible to everyone. In the hidden components, in the surface hidden or the near hidden, we see these are the components, these are the part that when you they are also the hidden on the first place. I mean, you cannot observe, because they are the hidden. But if you interact, if you communicate with the people, you will find certain information. Certain information mean their point of view, how they think, and the question like why they think like this, what is their concept, what is their religion, okay, what is their affiliation, like kind of a political affiliation. So when you will not interact with them, you cannot find these things. So one of the reason of behaving of this display is based on this surface hidden component of it. Also that you can easily find by interacting with these individuals. All right. But again, this attitude, I mean, this surface hidden belief on these things, I mean, they are dependent upon further deep belief system that is hidden further, which is totally inaccessible, which is very difficult to access, which is very difficult to know. If you ask somebody about these things, they will generally avoid discussing it on the first place. You need to find different tools to explore to get into this area and to find these things. Okay, that is your generally the deep your belief system, what an individual or what the group as a whole or the community see the things around, see the world, how they see the world. So it is based on the past, on the one place, I mean their experience, which is still true. What happened in the history, what happened in the past, and that definitely has an impact on them, and that makes them they keep their belief system in a certain way. Okay, that drives their behavior, that drives their attitudes. All right. So there we said their world view, the view about the world. All right. So this thing is very important to understand. So you can find in the books this analogy to read more on about it. So it is very interesting. Okay, quickly moving on. After this analogy, iceberg analogy, our next topic is what are the characteristics of the culture? What are the characteristics of the culture? This is also interesting to understand to the nature of the culture. Characteristics of the culture. So far what we have discussed, no, we are now going to converge all this thing what we have learned. We have expanded too much. So what is the characteristics of what is the culture? Culture is a learned behavior. What it means? It can be learned, individual to individual, individual. See, just to make you understand, you can just take the example of your class. When you first entered the class, joined the class in the first semester, you were all new to each other. Okay, you were all new to each other. Then it took some time for you to get yourself familiar with each other. Next stage, and then after that, you become then further familiar with to the norms and the things. Then you are able to develop to come to this stage. I mean, like for example, uh, first when you came the first time in your class, everyone was unknown. So you can use this word for that stage. That was the totally unknown to each other. So you are not don't know about the university, you don't know about the class, you don't know about the name of the even teachers, and you don't know what you are going to study, and you don't. So you what where you are, so you are just finding the information, collecting the information from whom? You are finding the information from the seniors, or you are finding the information from the different or even of your class fellows. So anyone who is might be have some information about that, about the about your university, was in a position to, I mean, was a very important person at this stage. But certainly at this time you can see also your cultures, your backgrounds. Excuse me. So your background, your demographics, where you came from. So that was at that stage that was driving you. You are in the form of ego states, high ego states. You are quite, you are not, I mean, getting, you are reserved at that stage. So when you enter the university, that was the first stage. But what happened after that? You have start learning something, and that learning was called the cultural learning. You start learning the culture of the organization of the university. So you learned how you observed others. Okay, you you talk with your fellows. You ask their names. You ask where they belongs. You ask what they studied. So you start knowing each other. And there were also some kind of the conflict kind of situation in the form of the emotional exchange was also exchanges. They also occurred in this stage in the early one week, 2 week. Okay, when slowly, because you don't know each other, don't know the abilities of each other, don't know the potential of each other class fellows. So after, you can say after 1 month or some time, and when you are in a position to select the CR for your class, you are in a position because you know the strengths, you know the weaknesses, you know the abilities of different class fellows of you. Okay, you also know what are they, where they came from, what are their do's and what are their norms, what they accept and what they don't accept. Even if the girls are in your class, so your attitude would be different. If the in the absence of the girls, females, your attitude is different, because of the respect of the, that is the norm that you respect for that part of the community. Similarly, when the teachers are in the class, your do and don'ts are redefined. The things that you do in the absence of the teacher are different from that you do in the presence of. So this is what you learned. Okay, it's not just at once, it not comes automatically, and that learnings has make your class different from the other section. If you are the D section, C section, it is different, it makes you different from the other class, because they have their own learning experience. Okay, and second characteristic is important characteristic that we have already discussed, is the sharing. So something, if I say your class has certain defined do and don't, certain norms, because they have adopted this thing. They have adopted this thing. Okay, if the majority of the students have adopted this thing, so it is the, the sharing value. For example, I can give you a very good example here in it. For example, if there are two sections like section A and section B, if this is composed of the students who came from the Urdu medium school, Urdu medium background, and this is from the English medium background, or you can say if they are they did the FA, FSC, FA, or FSC, or metric followed the metric system, and they have O level and A level. So definitely, don't you think that their culture will be different from this? Definitely, their culture will be different from this. They have the different experience. They have the different experience. Okay, the way they might be the more they spend more time towards the studies. They are more. They are asking more questions to the teacher as compared to these students. Okay, they might be the teachers are teaching delivering in the English language. For them, they feel comfortable, and they might find the teacher deliver in the Urdu language. So all these things. So your background, your composition, and that thing, make you to follow certain things. So if something you follow in this class will follow will be totally dependent upon their background, and what attitude, what habits they will follow will depend upon their background. Okay, so that is one of the things but there will be the sharing, the things they will share, uh, that will define their, that will distinguish them from the one culture to another culture. Next, the culture is a pervasive. Pervasive mean it prevails, okay, throughout among all the members of the team, among all the members of the society, among all the members of the groups, of all the members of the class, or at least the majority of the people. They are having this. Okay. It is symbolic. Symbolic mean you can name it, you can define it, you can distinguish it. Okay, you can distinguish the one culture from the another culture. Next, in the next slide, we will be discussing more on it. So we will discuss at this time. Next one is it is a dynamic. It is not something like it is fixed, not in fixed. It is dynamic. It is of varying nature. From different point of time, it is not fixed. Like I told you, this culture is over the time, like what you were in the first semester or not now, although it is the same composition of the student, because with the experience you have learned. So it is not a fixed thing. So by the time you will go in further higher in the class, in the studies, there you are definitely, your class culture will be changed further, and a teacher who has taught you in the first semester or in the second semester, if he teach you in the eighth semester, you will definitely see a difference. They can judge a difference in that culture. The same thing happens in the societies. Over the time, the communities, the localities, they develop. ठीक है, depending on the industrialization, depending upon the the business activities, depending upon the different things. Okay, the culture is changed. If you see in the areas in Pakistan, for example, if you see there, the industrialization occurred in the area where, particularly in Texla and these area, if you see, the culture has changed over the period, over the time, in 10 years, 20 years time of the, the education level has been improved. With that, with that industry, the people have got the job, their living standard has improved, their living style has been improved, they start purchasing the more things, more the material, they start purchasing. I remember then back in 74, 73, and when this industrialization, this thing was, this industry entered the start, people have started purchasing televisions, people have started purchasing the freezer back in those times. So those were because of their earning abilities was, living standard were improved. They sent their children to the schools. So over the period of time, that community, because of that event, that the industry, they changed, they evolved, they emerged, their capacity was improved. So it is not so culture is not something which is done, which is fixed. Okay, and it is systematic. It is not, blindly it moves like the water flows wherever it gets. No, there is some certain mechanism prevails behind the culture to expand. Like, it is not, blindly you say that it automatically develops. No, there is a system of accepting values. There the, in our community, what is that community? We have the elders, we have the histories. Every community has the history. We have the knowledges, we have the experiences, and that is being controlled. The culture and community is controlled by the seniors, by the elders, and by those influential people in the society. They define it. Not automatically. At once, nobody can say that it is developed. It is learned. One part of the in the past, people used to do the trading. So traders, when move from one part of the world to the another part of the world, they also takes their culture with them. Okay, the people have, like in India and Pakistan, the England, as when they taken over this area, they brought their culture here. They learned from our culture, and our culture, and our people have learned from their culture. So it is not just blindly occurred. The things, if has been adopted by us by from other culture, is systematically, and they occurred systematically. Okay. Next is the transmissible. Transmissible means that it is transferred from generation to generations. Okay, in the organization, if you say specifically, in the organization, in the formation of the employees, there are some elder employees who are in their 50s, and there are some employees who are in the middle age, who are the young. When they all work together, those employees who are in their 20s or their 30s, was young employee, when they learn the things from their elders, from their seniors, or senior transfer their knowledge to them. Okay, so in that way, this is transmissible. So same thing is also, true for the society, so social culture, in the culture of the communities and the societies. Okay. Okay, moving on. There is another term that is used in the organization culture, that is strong versus the weak culture. Strong culture, very simply, if I say you, if I define it, strong culture is the culture. If you compare strong versus a weak culture, strong culture is that where the you can say the set of habits, like the norms, all these things, all the elements of the cultures are being followed by the majority of the people. Okay, and the vehicle culture, they don't have their, the majority of the people are not, there's a majority is lacking in adopting these elements as a, I mean, this one thing is there. So those communities where the cultures are, I mean, in the form of small groups and small, they are generally the weak cultures. So when comparing the strong culture versus the weak culture, suppose in an organization, the all these elements of the culture, like the habits, the norms, and there are so different kinds of norms and habits, because the people come from different backgrounds. Okay, they come from different backgrounds, so they display certain norms here. One individual norms are different from the other individual norms, and when they combine together and develop the organizational norms, or add up to the or add up in the organizational culture, though it is up to the member of the organization, they accept it, that norms or not. They accept this norm or they accept this norm, or they accept the partial part of this, some norms from this person or some norms of this person. So this depends upon the majority to decide, or the members to decide, which norm they should adopt and which norm they should not adopt it. So a culture whose norms are more adaptable by the different members in the organizations, that culture is called the strong culture, because the norms of that culture are being adopted by the majority of the people. Same is true with our national level. If you see, many things we adopt and many things we don't we don't adopt as a culture, we don't adopt in our daily lifestyle. Okay, anything that has been adopted, if it belongs to any culture of the other country, it may be okay, or belongs to any other area, and if we are living here and we are adopting that part of the culture here, it's mean that that culture, that element of the culture is a stronger one. Okay, if we adopt more element of this culture to our culture, so it's mean this culture is weaker and this culture is stronger. So it depends. When the societies mix together, when they live together, the weaker parts vanished away and the stronger parts add up. So that is why this is how the communities and the nations develops. So as a whole, if you see, as we are a Pakistani, we adopt the many things and which are true in all the parts of the country. Like, for these are the small cultures in the different, like the languages are different, but all of us are able to understand the Urdu culture, Urdu language. Got my point? So many things that we adopt that makes the culture, as long as that element of the culture make it stronger. Okay, so moving on. Here there is a thunderstorm, so there might be some interruptions in the internet. So be ready for that. So I'm a bit speeding up here. Okay, class, next. What are the levels of culture? This is very interesting topic to know. What are the levels of cultures? So in the organizations, in the even in the societies, there are the different kinds of the cultures. I mean, those cultures that you can differentiate one group from the other groups. So there are the levels, there are the layers, so you can name different things. Like, you very quickly, if you see culture adopted by the genders are different. I mean, the males and females, definitely you can differentiate because of them being a male and female. You can differentiate their culture, their lifestyle is different from that of the females. Similarly, the literacy level, educated class and non-educated class, you can differentiate from them. Okay, in the basis of professions, you can differentiate with them. Similarly, the generations. Okay, generation means those who are born in the 80s, those who are born in the 90s, and those in born in 2000, and those in 2010. And after 10 years onwards, so these are the different generation. Z generation, Y generation, X generation, and the baby boomers. So all these are generation. Every generation has its own characteristics. If I belongs to this age group, 60s age group, and that age group has different characteristics as compared to those who born in these in different age groups. So generations also have different lifestyle, different they adopt a different culture, their characteristics are different. Similarly, the social affiliations. Social mean the where which part of the community you belongs to. Okay, social class, you can say the rich class, or the you can say the working class, or the all these things. Regional culture, and the culture of the like different region there in the like you can say the Sindh we have the culture in the Sindh, we have the culture in Punjab, we have the culture in the KPK Pathan culture, you can have the Baloch culture, Baluchistan, you can have the Kashmir culture, you can have the Gilgit. So all these all different regional culture that exist within the region as well. So similarly, if you speak the globally, so things are a bit different. We will see it later. Okay. Then comes the national culture, the culture of the Pakistan. You can compare it from the other nations. Similarly, the societal culture, the societies, different societies have the cultures as a society. Global cultures, different. Global mean the as a whole part of this universe, part of this globe. We are all human beings, although we are living in the different countries, but we are having the certain things sharing as a human being. So as a whole, we are adopting, we are following certain things. So there are certain elements of the culture that are being adopted throughout the world. Okay, that makes the global culture. Similarly, the national culture that is differentiable from the one country to another country. Society is one society to another society. You can differentiate one region to another region, one social class to another social class. Similarly, in the organization, if you see the from the layers point of view, the individual level mean very lower level of the because the culture is formed from the individual basically individuals individual with a different background when they come together they develop new culture. Okay, so that is called the first layer of the first individual level, then the team level or the group level, like you guys are in a class, you make a team. Similarly, the functions like in the organization, there are the marketing department, there are the production department, there are the finance department. So these are the different business functions. They have the different their culture on the basis of their department, on the basis of their I mean if the organization is located on different areas, so they have every uh, entity has a different culture. Similarly, the organizational level culture. Every organization comparing the organization with the other organization. Similarly, the corporate culture. The corporate is that is a combination of the different organizations who are doing the different kind of the businesses to make it a corporate of the organization. So one thing is very important to understand that comparing how you compare the organizational culture cannot be compared with the functional culture. Organizational culture will be compared with the organizational culture. Corporate culture will be compared with the corporate culture, and will be compared with the other team. National will be compared with the other nation. Region will be compared with the other region. So this is very important understanding to when you manage the culture. Do the management with the so this understanding is very important for you to do. Okay. Here I would like to draw the diagram here for you to make you this point further clear. Okay, very quickly. Suppose, for example, uh, just take an example. Like, for example, you are a class of the students. You belongs to section A, and there is another class. They belong to the section B. Okay. So you can you differentiate these two classes from the cultural point of view? Definitely. If I'm a teacher, I'm saying that this culture of this class or the behavior of this class is different. But there are certain commonalities of these two sections as well. There are certain commonalities. What are these? They are the suppose students of the MBA class, business administration. This is a common characteristic that they have. Similarly, these two sections are, if in the even in the A and B sections are in the evening session, and this is the morning session, and definitely they are different, but they are have the something common. Of these two, this commonality, this is also MBA, but this is the MBA evening class and this is the MBA morning class. They again, when you operate at this level, they are different, but again they have certain thing common, and that is they are the MBA students of this certain university. Understanding this thing is very important. So you cannot compare Mr. Section A cannot compare himself or with the I mean he cannot operate or he can communicate with this one in such a way. When he needs to communicate with this level, he has to first come at this level. What it means is to say is he will be first declare himself as a student of the MBA. He will not say I will in section A or section B. No, it is useless at this stage. Section A being a section A and section B is important at this level. But at this level, being the student of MBA is important. So when he will communicate with another student of the evening session, he will say, I am the MBA morning, I am MBA, that's it. Okay. Similarly, at this level, this is the university level, these sections are meaningless. These differences are living. When a person is talking to another person of another university, having the same formation, he will not say that I belong to section A and section B, and they will not say, he say I belong to student of this university. This is another things, because he will see the students of this university from the perspective of the certain characteristics that are being adopted by all that has been obtained, that has been adopted by all the members of this universities. And all the students of the MBA of this university have the same characteristics. They follow the same rules and regulations. They follow the same atmosphere. They have the same kind of the teaching methodologies and all these things which are common, which differentiate this university from the other university. Okay, you got my point? So understanding this thing is very important that I wanted to explain you through this diagram, and that is, I am just simplify it, and that is, suppose this is the national level, and if we move further, we will divide ourselves at the province. We come at the provinces level. If we further divide ourselves, we might come at the city level or the district level. If we further divide ourselves, we might come at the tehsil level or the sector level. And if we further divide ourselves, you can move. We can move downwards into the form of the communities. So every community has different cultures. This province has a different culture from this province. This district has a different culture from this district. Okay, the elements of there are different. So if any person, this is the, for example, national level, this is the Pakistan. If anyone is standing in Iran or in the China, if he is communicating with a person from the other person, so he will operate at this level. This thing I wanted to clear. So if you are operating at this level, So you are talking about the provinces, which province you belong. But if you are talking to another country, you have to move from this level to this level. You first come at this level, then you will communicate with this. So down the hierarchy, there are the differences. Up the hierarchy, you have the commonalities, cultural hierarchies, commonalities. This thing is important to understand. Okay, so let's see how much we are, where we are standing. Okay, class, there is a request from the CR that they wanted to stop the class because of it's raining outside and they have some internet problems. So okay, no problem. I am just stopping it here. That's my lecture. So just quickly, I just simply revise. Just summarize that what we have studied today. We will further continue from here in the next lecture.